What's up? Kaleb, Maggie, Robert, we're live. We're going to sit here and for the next 7 to 8 minutes, just kind of shoot the shit before we get into this week's movie news. A couple TV news topics this week as well for Multiplex Loves Movies. Robert's eating dinner.
I am.
What are you eating?
It's a ham and mayo sandwich with some clean protein shake.
Why are you drinking a clean protein shake?
Because I need more protein in my diet. Because I want to grow up to be a big, strong boy.
Like Kaleb Koho?
Yeah, exactly.
Big,
Kaleb,
yes. Strong, no.
Kaleb, Mr. Giving himself title shots, Koho.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just doing what your boy Rogers does and just stroke off the powers that be in order to get what I want.
Here's the thing. We win and you don't, though. That's the only thing.
No, you suck off the refs and they give you wins. That's what you do.
There's
3 wins that you've got. 3 wins that you've got that are from refs and not your own volition.
That's false.
That's not true.
3 for sure.
And how's your team doing this year?
One loss more than you, so we're right on your tail. Don't lose. Just don't lose.
Who do you have next week?
We have the Chiefs without Mahomes, so we have the same team that you played.
Yeah, that'll be whatever.
We'll win.
Speaking of Mahomes, Maggie and I were watching the game. Was that 2 nights ago?
Yeah.
That guy, I don't like him. Every time something that his team did, they just went to him on the sideline, just going.
Yeah.
He's Kermit the Frog, bro. You know that, right? He's a walking Kermit the Frog.
What does that mean?
If you've ever heard him talk, he's like, "Hi ho, Chiefs are great here." I can't do a Kermit. I can't do a Kermit, but he just literally sounds like Kermit the Frog.
It's a ham and mayo, but in some wheat bread. That's about
it. Wheat bread? Did Renee buy that for you?
No, I bought my own bread. Thank you very much.
You bought your own wheat bread?
Yes, I did.
We eat white bread in this house because I'm fat.
I don't like white bread. I prefer wheat bread.
I mean, she's trained you very well.
Yeah, she trained me very well. That's true. Except that I also have soda in my house, so clearly I'm a failure of a child.
That's yeah. We're not going to talk about this on the actual when we get to the actual topics, but me and Maggie just watched episode 2 of Watchmen.
Freaking love Watchmen, dude.
Robert, are you watching it?
No, I don't have HBO. I need to steal somebody's HBO, either my roommates or yours, or some. I don't know. I need to steal somebody's.
We don't have HBO.
We use Cody Newberry's HBO.
Oh, neat. Okay, yeah. I need to steal somebody's HBO so I can watch it.
Steal Caleb's.
I don't have HBO.
No.
Oh. You're a naughty little Santa Claus there.
I cannot confirm nor deny. I just said I don't have an HBO subscription myself. That can mean anything. FBI, you don't got shit on me.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
All right. Well, anyway,
protecting himself legally. That's a strong move.
The first episode was good. I really liked the second episode.
You like the second episode more than the first?
Yeah.
I think I like the first more than the second, but I get it.
I just now that I know the characters a little bit more.
That's fair.
It's just I can get into it a little bit more. Maggie, did you like the second episode more?
I actually think I liked the first episode more. But I mean, they're really similar. It's just pick one kind of thing. Yeah, it's good though. I'm excited to see what happens.
It's a completely original story, right? Just set in the Watchmen universe.
Basically, yeah.
It takes place 30 years later, or
something like that. It takes place many years removed.
And it's supposed to be a one-off thing. There's not going to be another season, or if there is, I think it's going to be American Horror Story, where it's something different, which I really like. The idea of not committing to all of these things, that it will just be a contained story.
I can't imagine them not bringing Regina King back for a second season though, after how she kicks so much ass in this season that it's I can't believe they wouldn't bring her back.
I don't think they're gonna do any more. Lindelof said, this is gonna be 9 episodes and that's it. Which I prefer. I don't need it to become a long drawn out thing, and by the time we get to season 5, we're sick.
We hate everything.
Yeah.
I'd rather be a contained story, and
I dug a lot of I think I liked I think the reason why I liked the first episode is because it felt more disconnected from Watchmen and original, but it kept the same vibe.
Yeah.
Tone of the show felt like the book, but the second episode had a lot more like references to the book. So I was like, yeah,
Like
okay,
big
this is
blue
Watchmen.
penis?
Like the blig blue bleedus that they talk about or show maybe.
They show it.
Spoilers.
I know. I'm trying to not give spoilers. So.
Wouldn't it be great if the Brewers were in the World Series right now?
Yeah,
I know that was a random thought. I just saw it on my sweatshirt.
Wouldn't it be great if it were the Brewers versus the Twins in the World Series right now? That'd be fun.
No.
Wouldn't it be great if the Packers are going to win the Super Bowl?
Yeah,
don't jinx it.
I'm saying you got the Saints and the 49ers to worry about for sure in the playoffs. I'm not worried about you versus the 49ers. I think you win. But I'm worried about you and the Saints.
Our cousin works for the Saints, so we can just slip him a 20. He'll just
That's true.
Take somebody out of the ankles. He'll be fine.
I don't think that's true, but
yes, he does.
All you gotta do.
Ben?
No, he works for them. I'm just saying he's not going to take somebody out.
all you have to do to beat the refs is
he's the trainer. He's
20. Slip the refs a 20 because they're very well known to not call blatant pass interference.
Hold up. Earlier it was, or now it's slipping a 20. Earlier it was suck him off. What changed there? I want to get that.
You have to do both if it's the NFC Championship game.
You've been demoted to the lower part of this square. Okay. You've been demoted.
I don't know.
What? Go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't know if it's not in your dossier, so I don't know if you were gonna talk about Box Office Mojo's shit show of a redesign.
Oh, we'll talk about that when we get
okay. Because I was very upset when I saw the redesign.
Me too. Trust me. Okay, we are gonna get into my dossier, my list of topics that we have. This is going to be a recap of the latest and greatest in movie and television from the last week. I promise this will be the last time we talk about why does Marvel suck, why doesn't Marvel suck, comments from people in the world. I promise this will be the last time. Couldn't pass it up. But as always, we're going to start with the box office. Guys, it looked like earlier in the week Joker was going to take the weekend, but it came out yesterday. It did not. Maleficent did win the box office with 19.3 million. Just behind it, Joker, number 2, 19.2. The Addams Family staying in there at number 3 with 12 million. That movie is chugging along. It only dropped 26%. That's really impressive. Zombieland at number 4 with 11 million, and then Countdown, the only new release to be in the top 5, at number 8. Other noticeable things, Black and Blue was another new release that comes in at number 6. The Lighthouse expanding to 500 theaters makes 3 million and coming in at number 8. That was really impressive. And the other newest wide release, The Current War, which we talked about a little bit last week, coming in at number 9 with 2.6 million. Maggie, I'm going to go to you first. What is the most noticeable thing from the box office to you?
I mean, the fact that Current War is so low is just like hilarious to me. I don't know why. The movie's not even that bad. I just understand that like people are over it and like not interested. The Lighthouse, good on it. Obviously, it's just going to keep going up as it gets released farther. The fact that Maleficent won by like $100,000 only is kind of funny. And they are, again, Disney with their big advertisements, #1 movie in the nation. But like Joker's been in the top 5 since its release. So calm down.
In the top 2 since its release.
Yeah.
It's either been number 1 or number 2. So that movie is chugging along. It's officially the highest grossing R-rated film of all time as of last week, I believe. So that is a big deal. Robert, you haven't seen Joker yet, have you?
No, I haven't.
But you've seen Maleficent 8 times. What is your problem?
I haven't seen a movie in theaters in a while, folks. School has been as Kaleb Koho would say, dicking me down the last few months.
Yikes.
When have I ever said those words?
It's what the kids say these days. I just associate you with the general youth of the internet.
Cool.
So, no, school's been rough, and I haven't been able to see Joker yet. I almost went on Saturday. It was in my calendar and everything, and then my haircut took too long.
Your haircut took too
So I
long.
wasn't able to go on Saturday. But hopefully I'll go this week. Maybe.
You should probably see it.
I want to real bad.
Yeah. But anyway, what did you think about the box office? Are you surprised that Maleficent won by only $100,000?
I'm surprised it was by so little. Because Maleficent, like, it's not a movie that anybody asked for, but I feel like people might be getting a little bit of fatigue from Joker just from the conversation surrounding that movie. So I'm surprised that it didn't drop lower. I'm surprised that it's still like sticking up there, but also like there's not a ton that the masses are going to go out and see right now. Like
That's true.
they're going to go out in droves to see The Lighthouse.
This is only Maleficent's second week, right?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
So like this is like, I mean, it makes sense that Maleficent is number one, but it'd be cool if Joker stayed up there.
Kaleb, Current War, Maggie alluded to it, number 9 at the box office. Why did this movie not make any money? Why didn't anyone go see it?
I don't think anyone knew it existed.
I don't know what that movie is.
I think if this was 2017, there was maybe a poster for it at a movie theater, but I think because of the delay, like we said last week, and now it finally coming out without any marketing push, I think the company behind it just kind of threw it out so people could see it.
That's true.
So yeah. Also, whoever spent the last $100,000 to go see Maleficent over Joker, I'm disappointed in you. Make better life choices.
But Maleficent, me and Maggie saw it. Maggie hated it. I didn't hate it. I thought it was really bad, but I enjoyed it like in a bad type of way. I thought it was better than the first one. What I didn't see, and to get to Maggie's point, we saw Current War. I enjoyed it. It's not a great movie, but it was entertaining. I enjoyed it. The performances are really good, and the score is actually really, really good on that film. But movies that I didn't see that were new this week: Black and Blue and Countdown. Countdown barely cracking the top 5, and Black and Blue coming in at number 6. I have no interest in those movies. Did any? Robert, you clearly didn't.
Hell no.
You didn't. Caleb, did you check either?
I saw a trailer for Countdown though. It looked at least the concept was at least a little bit interesting.
My parents said we're gonna go see Black and Blue. I said I'm gonna stay home. You guys go watch.
Did they go?
Yeah, my dad came back and said that was cool, and my mom said Naomi Harris is amazing. And my mom does not use big words like amazing when it comes to performances. So I might have to go see it for her.
This is coming from the woman who Angel Has Fallen is her greatest film.
No, not Angel Has Fallen. Olympus has fallen. No, not even Olympus. It's London Has Fallen is her favorite one of those 3. So, yeah. I mean, I take it with a grain of salt, but she like really liked Naomi Harris. So I'm like, I might go see it just to see if Naomi Harris is good.
It just looks like every other corrupt cop movie. I didn't know Frank Grillo was in it.
Oh,
my dad said he was really good.
Yeah, he's kind of the reason I want to see the movie, but at the same time, I know that I would watch it and not like it and be like, okay, that was a movie I saw. And I'm at that point now where it's like, there's so many movies coming out. We saw The Lighthouse this weekend. We saw Current War. Did we see something else? I don't think we saw anything else. But we saw those this upcoming week, which we're gonna get to. We're seeing 5 movies in the next like 3 days. I don't have time to go see Black and Blue and Countdown.
My one last thing about these movies that came out this last weekend. My sister is currently in Countdown. And
can we get an update?
Yes, I can text her right now and see what she thinks, but she hates horror movies. And I said, tell me what you think. And she said, 5 minutes into the movie, she sent me a text and she says, I kind of want to go home because this already is terrible.
When did this happen?
She went at 6:05. So
it's about an hour.
It's about an hour in. At this
Okay.
point.
It's more like 40 minutes in, but yeah.
Text her and tell her that when the film is over, we want an update and a review of Countdown from Kaleb Koho's sister. That's what I want in my life.
Okay.
Never knew that's what I wanted, but it is.
Until this moment.
What'd you say?
I said until this moment. We didn't know we did that.
I just texted her. I said, when countdown is over, tell me what you think, Tim, once you review. So
there you go.
So she'll let me know when she gets up.
So we'll get into the next thing that Kaleb kind of alluded to, which we're not going to spend much time on, but I've got to comment on it as somebody who's been using Box Office Mojo for years. IMDb, did they always own Box Office Mojo and I never knew about it?
Amazon has always owned Box Office Mojo because it says Box Office Mojo powered by something underneath it, and now that powered by is much bigger. And when they made this move, I was very upset because
So I have Box Office Mojo bookmarked on my phone, and I think it was the day after we did Multiplex Loves Movies last week, which, as you know, we use it every week to power this show to talk about box office. And I clicked on it, and up popped IMDb Box Office Mojo by IMDb Pro, and I was like, oh, I must have clicked the wrong thing. And I literally reloaded it, retyped it, tried it on my laptop. It's different. The layout is atrocious. It does not look good. The way they have things set up, it's just very poorly done. I was disappointed. Joe Harrison saying that IMDb bought Box Office Mojo in 2009. Okay. That might be the case. But this new redesign that they have, I am not a fan. I think me and Kaleb are the only ones who care about this. Is that correct? Robert, are you looking at it right now?
I was, because I hadn't seen it yet until just now. I was looking at it.
I want to point out my least favorite thing that they did is
Give us your top 5?
Yeah, I can give you my top 5 things that I hate the most. But my number one thing that I hate is when you go to yearly and you click on like the top grossing movies yearly, it'll give you the number 1 release. But the number 1 release for each year is incorrect because the default setting is for calendar gross, which is a term I had never heard before. So the top grossing movie of 2013 is Iron Man 3. 2014 is Guardians of the Galaxy. 2010 is Avatar. 2009 is Transformers 2. Which means within January 1st to December 31st, what the highest grossing movie within that is. You have to change the setting from default from calendar gross to in year to get the actual number that you want to know. And I think that is so annoying.
So basically, if Star Wars The Force Awakens had come out on December 31st, it would not be listed as the highest grossing of 2015.
In fact, it's not even listed as the highest grossing. Jurassic World is, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's weird. That is weird.
I hate it.
I don't like that either. But anyway, it sucks. IMDb, fix it. Put it back. We like it the way it was. It was simple. It was easy to use. Now it's hard to use and gross. Okay. Oh, good. I'm glad that Joe Harrison agrees. It does make me want to vomit as well. Okay. We'll move on to the next topic, which again, guys, I promise this is the last time we are going to talk about this whole thing that Scorsese.
Until next week when we talk about it again. No, I'm just kidding.
No, we are not going to talk about it again. But basically, this happened very early in the week. This probably happened the day after last week's show. But I do want to touch on it briefly because we have talked about the Scorsese comments, the Coppola comments. We talked about kind of it all. And I think this is a nice way that I want to wrap it up because I'm a big fan of Bob Iger. If you don't know, I am a Disney shill. If I could, I would literally just funnel everything Disney into my mouth. I love anything Disney related, even the stuff that sucks, like Pirates of the Caribbean. Sorry, Kaleb. But Bob Iger had this to say about all of the Marvel movie criticisms, which I think is just fantastic. He said, when Francis uses the words, "Those films are despicable," I'd reserve the word despicable for someone who had committed mass murder. I don't get what they're criticizing us for when we're making films that people are obviously enjoying. going to, and they're doing so by the millions. I'm puzzled by it. If they want to bitch about movies, it's certainly their right. It doesn't bother me, except I'm bothered on behalf of the people who work on those movies. It seems so disrespectful to all the people that work on those films, who are working just as hard as the people who work on their films and are putting their creative souls on the line just like they are. Are you telling me that Ryan Coogler making Black Panther is doing something that somehow or another is less than anything Scorsese or Coppola have ever done on any of their movies? Come on. I think this is fucking great. This is basically what we've been saying from the beginning. Mm-hmm. We said this last week when we talked about Coppola, or 2 weeks ago, whatever that was, when we talked about what the fuck Coppola said. That why is Ryan Coogler, who was clearly inspired by Marvel, now coming in and making the movie any less different than Scorsese being influenced by crime films and coming in and making his crime movie? It's not. Yeah. Cody, I couldn't agree with you more. I just loved this. I loved the fact that Iger just came for the throat, said, "What are they bitching about?" Just had like no shit whatsoever.
No fucks given, yeah.
No fucks given at all. Robert, you haven't been here to talk about this with us, but kind of give me your overall thoughts on this whole thing, culminating with this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with them. Like, I agree with what you just kind of said and what you guys have been saying over the last few weeks. My biggest, I do think some people may infer these comments as, comparing Black Panther on, the same level as, a Godfather or a Goodfellas. And I don't think that's meant, I've seen people on Twitter take it that way. And I think that's a little bit of a stretch. I don't think those movies are on the same, level of just overall quality of film, but at the same time, that doesn't give Scorsese or Coppola the right to just say, oh, these aren't cinema, these are dog shit or whatever, despicable. I don't know, it's a weird situation, and obviously Scorsese and Coppola, what do they care what people Marvel, the Disney shills have to say? They don't care. But I definitely agree with Iger's comments. What are they bitching about? Who cares?
Yeah.
Maggie.
Yes.
You've been here for part of this. Tell me.
I have. I agree. I like that he just was despicable. Calm the fuck down. We don't use that word to describe movies. Unless they're I don't know, Birth of a Nation or something. But let's just not do that. The original Birth of a Nation, right?
That's I got
okay. You. And so I mean, I just hope that it's over now. We can stop. The God of Disney has spoken. Just calm down.
Kaleb, I have a feeling you probably feel the same way about us, but I'll go to you next.
No, you know what? Iger's a piece of shit. No, I agree. I love his point about how we reserve the word despicable for actually terrible acts that we use, and to use it in relation to a movie is silly, and it really paints Coppola and Scorsese as kind of whiny kids about movies. And I think that was Iger did a good job of putting it in perspective, where it's everyone who works on a Marvel movie works just as hard as the people who worked on The Irishman. They're different. They're all movies, just the subject matter is different, but yeah, I agree. The answer is the Packers refs, by the way.
That's a bunch of bullshit.
I'm sorry, I had to feed the fire.
I just, again, I've said it week after week. I'm pretty sure we've talked about this every week. We've been doing this as a news show, but Scorsese is my favorite director, and I understand why he said what he said, and he's actually gone on to kind of reevaluate and re-say what he meant. And so again, I don't care anymore. I think that it is what it is. But again, it makes sense why the 70-year-old Martin Scorsese would not like Marvel movies. And I think we should all just be done with this. I just really liked what Bob Iger had to say, so I wanted to talk about it. Okay. Move on to the next thing. This is the biggest news that's come out all week.
76. Sorry, Martha says he's 76 years old.
And
if he was 70, maybe he'd like Ant-Man a little bit more, but 76
is pushing it just a little bit. We will move on to the next topic. This is the biggest news of the week, I would say, and it just broke yesterday. And that is that Benioff and Weiss, who are very famous for that Game of Thrones show, they were set to do a trilogy of films in the Star Wars universe. Many people had speculated it would be a Old Republic film, which I was very excited for. But it came out yesterday. They have exited Star Wars. Here's the quote that they gave Deadline. So we love Star Wars. When George Lucas built it, he built us too. Getting to talk about Star Wars with him and the current Star Wars team was the thrill of a lifetime, and we will always be indebted to the saga that changed everything. Doesn't really give much. It sounds like from what the Deadline report says that they've also made a deal with Netflix, which was announced recently, that they've got too much time committed to that. They've got too much going on there. They don't have time to properly do Star Wars justice. Kaleb, how do you see this whole thing?
I mean, I'm pretty sure they just kind of low-key got fired and walked away. Because I think they're controversial figures right now in the world of the geekdom. I've only seen 2 things they've ever written. The first season of Game of Thrones, which I kind of dug, but like it was overwhelming for me, so I jumped off Game of Thrones. And X-Men Origins Wolverine, which was written by Benioff, is not good. So he also wrote Gemini Man this year. So his track record of writing stuff is not the greatest. So I don't blame them. I mean, have fun at Netflix. I don't know. I'm more as much as like I think the writing of those Star Wars movies are going to be important, I'm interested in who's directing that trilogy, more so than who's necessarily writing it. Because when it comes to Star Wars, I'm not so like inclined that the writing is the most crucial part of those movies per se.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think they were set to write the trilogy or direct the trilogy. They were just set to produce.
Oh, then I'm interested in whoever is actually making it instead of producing it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, them walking away is fine. I mean, like, I get it. If you're a Star Wars fan, that's a disappointing thing. But like, they walked away from Star Wars, so I feel like there was something that happened behind the scenes that we don't know about. But oh well. I mean, I don't know if I trust Benioff with Star Wars. But other than that, I don't know.
All right, Maggie. Kathleen Kennedy actually went on to say yesterday, Benioff and Weiss are incredible storytellers. We hope to include them in the journey forward when they are able to step away from their busy schedule to focus on Star Wars. So do you think that comment from Kathleen Kennedy might insinuate that this wasn't them low-key getting fired, that they actually did decide to step away? What do you think out of those comments?
Right. To me, that sounds like Disney was like, here's this contract. We need you to give your life to this. And they said, we can't do that. And then Disney was like, well, then sorry. You have
hit me up later then.
Right. Hit me up. Right. Exactly. Hit me up later then, because like we need somebody, a producer who can be hands-on and like do all of the things right now. And so that's what that comment to me sounds like. Disney was asking for a lot, and they just weren't willing to. For like 3 movies is a lot. It's a long time. So that would be giving up a lot of other things. So I can understand why they would not want to do that, especially if, as the comment sounds, though obviously it might just be being polite. It sounds like the door is still open in the future, so they could theoretically do all of whatever they want to now without having to be burdened down by this commitment and then come back again.
Robert, I'm going to pose a question to you.
Do it.
Cody is saying that Kathleen Kennedy is the problem, and Joe Harrison is agreeing. We've seen the issues or perceived issues before Not a lot of people liking Last Jedi, or I guess The Last Jedi being a mixed reception. Kathleen Kennedy didn't really, on record, create a plan for this trilogy that we've recently gotten or are going to be wrapping up soon. The whole thing was Solo. That was a whole thing.
Yeah.
Do you agree with this? Is Kathleen Kennedy is she the reason why they walked away, do you think?
Well, I mean, I'm not a fly on the wall in the boardroom meeting, so obviously, like, I have no clue. Completely speculative. Like, I wouldn't say that she is not the problem, or at least not, like, a contributing factor to some of the problems that Star Wars has been having. I think that a much more well thought out, well planned saga, like, would be a better story told, and that instead of just sort of winging it. Which, like, for better or worse, whether you like Last Jedi or you don't, whether you like Force Awakens or you don't, whether you like Solo or you don't, like, this new era, like, I think it's fair to say that there is, at least at some level, there's not a lot of sense of direction at times. So I think maybe she's part of that. I mean, calling her the problem, like, I don't know enough to, like, say that, but I definitely think it's a contributing factor. As for Benioff and Weiss leaving, like, I was not the biggest fan of the last season of Game of Thrones, and they got a lot of heat. Some of it deserved, some of it not so much, about that last season of Game of Thrones. So I understand them not wanting to dive into Star Wars fandom after the heat that they got off of that, because if they, especially if their schedule, like, this may all be optics, but especially if their schedule is as busy as it seems to be with all these statements, you don't want to half-ass Star Wars, because then you will forever be remembered as the guys who fucked up Game of Thrones and Star Wars.
Yeah.
And that's not a legacy you want to leave behind as an artist or as a filmmaker. So if the door is still open, I would love to see their take, because they are really good storytellers. I would love to see their take, or at least their production and their involvement in Star Wars in the future. But I also don't want to see them half-ass it and not care and not fully devote themselves to it, and then get a subpar product because of that.
I hope, I agree. I think that, yeah, they're great storytellers, great world builders. So I agree. I wouldn't want to see them half-ass it either. The funny thing is that out of all of this, like, Star Wars mania, like, that we've been getting, like, Obi-Wan was originally going to be a movie that's come out. That was now going to be that Disney Plus show. All the stuff with this, with Solo, the one thing that's been untouched, apparently we're still getting a Rian Johnson trilogy outside of the saga. That hasn't been touched at all. That was announced before Last Jedi came out. Apparently it's still happening. So
I'm into it.
Who the fuck knows? But we'll move on. We'll go to the next thing, which actually has to kind of do with this topic. Kaleb, I'm sorry. You probably won't be able to give too much speculation on this one.
Oh, probably not. I'm sorry. I was laughing at Peck's in the comments because he's like, do you know who Benioff is related to? And I was waiting for something big, and he goes, his father's the chairman of the New York Federal Reserve Bank. And I was like, oh, I thought you were gonna say his dad was like Walt Disney Jr. or something.
Well, that's the chairman of the Federal Reserve Bank in New York is a big deal.
I'm sure it is, but also that's not what I was expecting at all. So I was like, oh, okay. Also, thanks, Cody. I saw that.
All right, so this next topic, this one, Robert, I know
I'm here for this one.
Waiting. So over the summer, a Game of Thrones prequel was shot. A pilot was shot, starring Naomi Watts. Cool. It's not getting picked up by HBO, which is very surprising. Collider says, yeah, in a shocking move to absolutely everyone, HBO has decided to not pick up the Game of Thrones prequel pilot that it shot this summer. It starred Naomi Watts, took place 5,000 years before the events of Game of Thrones, and was said to focus on the Age of Heroes, which saw humans battling the White Walkers for the first time. And it's not getting picked up. I don't know why. I would have liked to have seen this. I'm not aching for more Game of Thrones, and I actually loved the last season. I'm one of those people where I really enjoyed it. I didn't love the finale so much, but everything leading up to that, I really enjoyed. But I wasn't like super looking forward to like jumping back into this world, but I liked this idea, and it's not coming now for unknown reasons. Because I know Robert has a lot to say, Maggie, I'm going to go to you first. Actually,
a lot. I just
you're probably the biggest
Game
of Thrones fan here out of all of us. So, yeah. Maggie, I'll go to you first. Were you looking forward to this? Are you shocked that this is not going to happen?
I mean, I forgot that it was happening, to be completely honest, as I usually do. But I mean, I would have liked to see it. It's been less than a year since I've watched all of the Game of Thrones, so I'm like still like in it, and I would be totally down to see more. But it is definitely surprising that they paid for it and like made it, and then we're like, nah. Like, that's a choice. That's a choice that you make. I don't know if this is a dumb question, but, like, could somebody else buy it? Or no, because they own the IP.
Probably. They own the rights. The other thing to think about, too, is that George R.R. Martin is actually developing, like, 5 other Game of Thrones series right now for HBO. So this wasn't the only one that was in development. But it's the only one that was shot, and I looked further into the article, but the Hollywood Reporter notes that the network, quote, wasn't thrilled with the final cut of the pilot and asked for changes and edits, but ultimately decided to scrap the series entirely. Wow. So it sounds
drastic.
It sounds like whatever was filmed was not what they were wanting to see.
I imagine that honestly, like a lot of it is just the politics behind this last season of Game of Thrones. I'm sure that they were very upset with the reaction and that they were probably mad at themselves because they didn't realize that what they were putting out fans weren't going to necessarily like. And I think that's kind of unfair to this new thing to put the pressure of that series on this. But I get it. I mean, I understand wanting to walk away. It would be like if the prequels of Star Wars came out and then they released like Han Solo or Rogue One like right after that. Like I can understand how like people would want to walk away and take a break.
Robert, how do you perceive this story? Make some sense of it.
It's really interesting that they shot this pilot, like probably a super expensive pilot for them to shoot, only to scrap the series entirely. That's pretty drastic. Part of it is it's been in development for a while. Part of it is probably part of the scrapping is probably due to the optics of how season 8 worked out. Even with that being said, though, Game of Thrones is still one of the like tentpole things in pop culture over the last like 5-6 years. Like this decade, Game of Thrones is in probably the top 5 most definitive things in pop culture.
Yeah.
So it's surprising that they don't want to try to capitalize on that popularity at all. Because it'd be weird if they're like 5 years down the road, they announce, "Oh, we're going back to that Game of Thrones world. Remember that from 2016?" Like, it'd be kind of weird if that happened. So I'm surprised that they're not trying to jump on the popularity now. But at the same time, season 8 was a really mixed reaction. Game of Thrones was extremely expensive to make. And I understand them not wanting to take a big risk right now. As for the actual story being told, I think the First Men and like the original White Walkers, like I think that story is super interesting, and like I would love to see that world explored. I would also love to see like a Robert's Rebellion story. I know we saw like kind of flashbacks of that. We never got like a fully fleshed out story of like the birth of Jon Snow and like Lyanna Stark and Rhaegar Targaryen. Like only about like 30 years before Game of Thrones happened. I think that's an interesting story to tell too. But like there's still other series being like in development for Game of Thrones. I'm sure there's other people working on Game of Thrones, like universe scripts. Obviously George R.R. Martin like working on his own books, but also trying to develop other things. So I don't think like we'll never be back into that world. I think we'll go back into that world at some point. It's just a little bit disappointing that it's not happening earlier for me personally.
So this is great. I thought this was a joke. I thought Jonathan Peck was fucking with me in the comments. He's 100% correct. Game of Thrones. I'm pulling up the tweet right now, but the Game of Thrones Twitter.
Is this like actually breaking? Like as in like right
breaking
now?
News 33 minutes ago.
Holy shit!
Game of Thrones Twitter hashtag House of. I'll share my screen. I'll share the tweet. But I thought he was fucking with me, Jonathan Peck. But you son of a bitch, you are bringing something magical here.
Jonathan.
So House of Dragon, a Game of Thrones prequel, is coming to HBO.
Oh,
the series was created by George R.R. Martin and Ryan Condal. Miguel Sapa, whatever, will partner with Condal as showrunner and will direct the pilot and additional episodes. We'll be writing the series.
So that's kind of what I was saying. Only
it has been ordered straight to series.
Wow.
What does that mean?
That means they don't need a pilot. They just go straight in.
Oh, that means they're
not going to do what they just did.
They're not testing it out. They're not. Yeah.
They're not going to make a pilot and see if the execs like it.
They're making the whole series.
This is happening.
Cool. So that's kind of what I mean. It's not really Robert's Rebellion. It might end with Robert's Rebellion if it's like a Targaryen story.
Right. That's what it seems like.
It might be early Targaryen stuff. So like Maester Aemon from The Wall. It might be like his younger years with his brother who was Aegon the Conqueror. Like
okay, Robert.
Flex on you real quick. It's going to be older Targaryen stuff, which would be cool. But also like it might tie in. There's definitely going to be references and character names that we like have heard before in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I'm going to Deadline right now. So Deadline's the one. THR broke it. It sounds like, but Deadline's the one that I was able to pull up quickly. Pretty much everything that was in the tweet.
Wow, that's super interesting.
Sapachik or whatever. Oh, Koho, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the article. So.
You're good. The only relevant information I can contribute to this now at this point is facts, and that Ryan Condal, the co-developer, is the writer behind the Dwayne Johnson incarnation of Hercules and Rampage.
Don't say those things to me.
Are his only credited like things that, and he also created the TV series Colony, which ran from 2016 to 2018. Those are his only writing credits, and the showrunner Sapachik is a director mainly who only is most well known for Game of Thrones.
Maggie, Sapachik directed an episode of Revolution. Remember that show?
He also directed episodes of Iron Fist, Altered Carbon, True Detective, and the film Repo Man.
Hey!
Oh my God!
Not that Repo Man. Not that Repo Man.
No, Repo Man. Sorry, with Jude Law and Forrest Whitaker.
Yes,
yeah. But anyway, so this has been ordered to a 10-episode straight to series order.
That's dope.
I don't see anything about when it's coming, but here's a couple quotes. The Game of Thrones universe is so rich with stories, says Blois, I believe. We look forward to exploring the origins of House Targaryen and the earlier days of Westeros, along with Miguel, Ryan, and George. While narrative specifics on the project based on Fire and Blood book are scarce, House of Dragons will certainly be rich in the dragon lord ancestors of Daenerys. So it looks like this is going to happen maybe for HBO Max. HBO Max? Yeah.
It's their streaming service.
Yeah. HBO Max announced another show the other day too.
They exist as a streaming service?
Yeah.
No, I'm sure it'll be exclusive to HBO Max, but then it will go to like regular HBO afterwards. That's what I would assume, because HBO is already a paid subscription service. Yeah. So if I had to guess, it'll be new on HBO Max. You can only watch it there for like a week, and then it'll go somewhere else. But honestly, thank you, Mr. Peck, for bringing that to us, because we would not have seen that otherwise while doing this. So thank you. Don't thank us. Thank you. That's exciting. Cool. So one show goes away, but another one is born. Fantastic. All right. We're going to move on to the next topic. This one that bless you. This is one that has me a little oof. Now, I know I went on a rant earlier about being a Disney shill, these are the things that make me not excited as a movie fan and a Disney fan. Disney is reportedly putting classic Fox movies into the vault.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know what the vault is this made-up thing that Disney has where they put movies into it, and that basically means they don't let them out to be watched digitally on streaming services, to buy on DVD and Blu-ray. They've been doing this for years, even back to VHS days where you couldn't get The Adventures of Mr. Ichabod and Toad or whatever the fuck it's called. You couldn't see it unless it was released from the vault. And then it was released from the vault. You could buy it on VHS, and then all of a sudden it would go away and it'd be no more. Funny thing about the vault, it's still to this day, if I go onto Vudu and I decide to buy The Lion King, a signature edition in 4K digitally, when they put it back in the vault, it disappears from my library that I bought.
Really?
100%.
Is that true?
That is 100% true.
Holy
That makes
Don't look at me like that, Kaleb Koho.
What?
I've done your research on this. It's true.
That's insane.
So-
But if I buy the movie physically, I have it forever. Which is just my PSA of saying, buy physical media. The conglomerate overlords will take your digital movies. They'll lock you out of all of your things.
They actually can take it off of your library?
I mean, if you pay money for
Wow.
a digital copy of a movie, I don't think they can remove it. You
They
pay
can.
for it.
No,
private
I know
parties can do whatever they want.
it's happened.
Yikes.
So my PSA of saying buy physical media. Anyway, now they're putting Fox things into the vault. See, Joe Harrison, thank you for coming in clutch and backing me up here. If digital copies go away once they go back in the vault, it fucking sucks, but it is true.
Wow.
Anywho, thank you. God, Joe Harrison might just be my new best friend. Anywho, getting onto the Fox thing, this is dangerous, what they're doing, and if it's true. It seems like it's true, but basically what they're doing is, I haven't heard too much about it physically or online yet, but I work for a movie theater chain, and I don't want to speak for that theater chain because that could get me in a lot of trouble. But I will say that we have had no problem with this. But according to this report, a lot of smaller theaters have. And basically what it is a lot of theaters play old movies. They just do. It's a way to get people back into the theater. If I say, hey, we're showing Fight Club on Wednesday night, come watch it, people will usually come and watch that more than they'll come to watch The Current War. You can make more money off of classics more often than not. That's why people play Harry Potter movies over again. You might show The Lord of the Rings. You might show certain stuff. Disney has been notorious of not letting their films be played, their older films be played in theaters. Every now and then you can get away with it. There's a theater chain that we are very close to that we used to work for that does get the ability to play Disney movies from time to time, but it costs a lot of money for them to do that. So it sounds like what's happening is that once this Fox acquisition happened, Disney has stopped letting people play older Fox movies. The example that is in the article is that even though Turner Classic Movies is going to be playing Alien later this month, other theaters were told, nope, it's unavailable. It's unavailable to purchase. It's unavailable to show at your theater. It's gone. You can't do it, even though it's playing through Turner Classic Movies, which is a thing that's set up a year in advance. People weren't able to show Fight Club. Some theaters weren't even able to show Rocky Horror Picture Show for this upcoming Halloween because it's a Fox film. This is dangerous if this is what is going to start happening to Fox movies. Am I not going to be able to find Logan on streaming? Is my digital copy of Logan going to go away? This is yikes, guys. This is not cool. Kaleb, you didn't have a lot on the last one, so I'll start with you. How do you feel about this?
That's bullshit. Like the vault works for Disney when it's Disney because it's a limited collection. I get that. That's like a business model that they go with and they've been doing for years. I think it's kind of dumb, but hey, it works for them. But to apply it to an entire new studio that you got, which
and sorry to interrupt,
crazy.
They do it specifically for their animated films, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't think some many of their live action films in there.
I think some live action, because I'll be honest, I don't think you can go out and find Davy Crockett, King of the Wild Frontier at your local Blu-ray store.
Sure.
But I think
Pre-played.
yeah, pre-played. But I think when they do it with this, I think that's scary. Especially like the thing that disconcerts me is that they could just take something that you paid for off of your digital library because it's in the vault. I think that's insane. And like that's worrisome. And if they did that, I'd be upset. So yeah, I don't know. That's disconcerting, and I hope they don't do that. I don't know. Like that's despicable. That's what we use despicable for, by the way. Coppola, Scorsese. That's despicable.
We're still talking about Disney.
I'm doing minor research, and a lot of these articles are a little bit outdated, but it looks like some streaming services do let you keep the HDX copy, some don't. If it's in the vault, like Amazon is one that like it's saying you do not have access to this copy if Amazon does not have access to this copy. So if you have Amazon Prime or Amazon Video and you choose to purchase the movie so you have it in your Amazon library and then it's put into the vault, you no longer have access to that movie. I haven't found anything from Vudu yet. In 2013, there was an article by Vudu that said that's not the case, but that was 6 years ago. So
okay. Other theaters, again, going through this, and a lot of these theaters, and the other thing too is, again, like I don't want to get too much into it because I don't want to get in trouble, but Disney is notorious for bullying theater chains. And again, I love them. I've bought every fucking Disney Blu-ray that's come out in the last like 5 goddamn years. Like I love Disney. They make some of my favorite movies ever made. But they're notorious for saying, "Oh, you want to show Star Wars? Well, you're going to show it in 7 of your 12 houses, and it has to play in your 2 biggest houses for 6 weeks." They do that. Those are things.
A red dot on the side of Tim's head in a minute. He's just going to go down on stream.
But those are things that they do. And so some of these theaters that are quoting in this article aren't even revealing what theater they're from, what chain they're from, where they are, because they're afraid that Disney will be like, "You said something about us on Screen Rant? Well, fuck you. You're not going to show Star Wars this Christmas," which is kind of fucked up. But the thing that they so it looks like an Ohio Film Festival wasn't allowed to play The Fly and The Omen for Halloween. Other theaters aren't allowed to play Planet of the Apes. It's a weird thing. Maggie, how do you feel about this whole scenario?
I mean, I'm not a fan. It's really shitty that they have been given power over all of these classics, and they are essentially exploiting that power to make more money, basically, by limiting the supply. And I think that that's rude, and I'm not very happy about it. Side note, when I was a child, I thought the Disney Vault was like a real vault.
I 100% thought
all of the
VHS
copies of the movie and put them in the vault somewhere.
I have a distinct memory of me and Maggie having this conversation. We were in the back seat of our old green van.
You guys are siblings?
And we were literally talking about how we were on our way to Disney for the first time, and we literally thought there was a big-ass vault in Orlando. Like a real bank vault that they put VHSs into. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not a fan. I know a lot of people have been very upset about this merger or acquisition, really, generally. And I was skeptical of that to start with. Obviously, I know that people are going to lose their jobs because there's going to be like duplicative positions. yes and no, because they're two different studios, but whatever. Anyway, it just is concerning. I think that I hope that this isn't where they continue to go.
I agree. Robert, I'm going to go to you next. The question I kind of want to pose more towards you.
Yeah.
I like that. That's funny. The question I want to pose more towards you is, do we think that with Disney Plus coming in the next couple weeks, a lot of Fox titles are coming to Disney Plus? Not like a huge amount by any.
Yeah.
It's mostly Disney proper stuff, but a lot of Fox titles are coming. Do we think that this is their way of saying, well, if you want to watch The Fly, you've got to get Disney Plus? Do you think that's where this is headed?
I think that's probably part of it, looking to the future. Part of it is also just like, I mean, Disney has been doing this whole vault thing for a long time. Like this isn't the idea of the Disney vault isn't a new thing. It is weird that they just did this merger and now they're like, oh, we own all this shit now. Goodbye, there it goes. It is kind of weird that they're like taking that kind of extreme control so quickly. But I'm not surprised. Disney's a fast-moving company. They got a lot of money going around. They can do shit real quick. I don't like it. I don't support it. I think it is hurtful to movie theater chains and things like that. But I hesitate to say that it's gonna be like it's intentional to push people to Disney Plus or else they won't get this content. I just think part of it is it's what Disney's been doing for a while.
Because the thing is that like the vault is a weird thing where I too thought it was a magical vault somewhere in Orlando. But a lot of Disney's more recent stuff hasn't been going in the vault. You don't see Moana out of print.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see Tangled out of print, Princess and the Frog. You don't see that stuff going in the vault. They're re-releasing that crap every 5 months so that idiots like me will rebuy it 8 times. But with Disney Plus, a lot of stuff that was in the vault for years that I've never fucking seen, because where would I have seen it? Because it's been in the vault, is going to be on Disney Plus. So I think it is an interesting just balance of who knows what's going to happen. I'm getting Disney Plus because I want to see a lot of Disney films and new content. I hope this content will reach Disney Plus, but again, like I said, they can take it away at any moment. I hope that the content stays circulated, because why would you want to take away great movies? I want to expose my child when they eventually come into the world. When they are 9 years old, I will show them Alien. And when my wife is at work and she doesn't know what I'm doing, I will expose them to Die Hard when they are 12 and my wife is at work and she doesn't know what we're doing. I can't do that.
Alien before Die Hard, that's a bold statement.
Well, Alien's like a lot better than Die Hard.
You know what other film is a Fox film? The Princess Bride. Okay, we are gonna move on to a topic that our last main topic of the day, one that has Kaleb Koho shivering in his pants. We're going to talk about Pirates of the Caribbean is getting a reboot. It's coming from Chernobyl writers. I have not seen Chernobyl yet. Here it's great. Here the writers are great. Robert's doing something. I don't know what's happening. Shiver me timbers. Kaleb Koho, please tell us why this is cool.
They were gonna reboot it, and I'm not upset that they're rebooting it. I think the magic of Pirates of the Caribbean is that whimsical sense of adventure that they have in the I love the first 3. I absolutely love the first 3. I hate 4, 5's whatever. But there was one part of 5 that I thought was really cool, that I was really excited about the prospect of doing another Pirates for, was a post-credit scene that teased that Davy Jones was back via curses or writing or whatever. And I think it would have been really cool to do a 6th and last Pirates with Jack Sparrow after all this controversy that brings Davy Jones back because he's the only like really great villain and like pays off the franchise and gives Jack Sparrow closure and like pays off that arc of because in 5 movies I'm not the hero, but he's a hero, and having him finally kind of finish out that arc would have been cool. I will say I'm slightly hesitant that Ted Elliott and Terry Rossio aren't involved. I think those are the writers that really make Pirates what it is. All 3 of the first 3 movies that they were involved in writing in were good. Like the stories were good, the characters were good. You can like not like At World's End, that's fine, or Dead Man's or whatever. They might not be your cup of tea, but I think that the story through line of the first 3 is solid. They had little to no, they had no involvement in 4, and they had little to no involvement in 5. Fair enough. But 5 is not great, but I like the post-credit scene. But I would have liked a 6. I'm not like I'll put like okay. How Lord of the Rings is for Robert, Pirates is for me. I love them. Yes, 100% love Pirates of the Caribbean. So a reboot. He does have an arc. Whatever, whatever. But Pirate. Whatever.
Go on.
Pirates 6, I would have liked to have seen. But a reboot, fine. They were gonna do it. I'm interested. Hopefully they can make a character that's as compelling as Jack Sparrow that can carry that franchise along. I don't know if they can. I don't know if they will. I have not seen Chernobyl, but I know that Craig Mazin is like a great writer. I have heard of him. But Craig Mazin is supposedly a great writer. Maybe he has a really cool idea. That could be really cool. I don't know. I'll see it. I wish Ted Elliott and Terry Rossio were involved. I wish that they did a 6th and final one to wrap up the saga of Pirates. I wish for a lot of things, but we're getting a reboot. I'll see it. I hope it's good. I don't know.
Yeah, I like these movies. I love the first one when it came out. Saw it in the theater with my dad. Great, rousing old time. Saw the second and third ones in the theaters with my family. Loved it. At the time, I have grown to still love the first one. I don't hate the second and the third one, but they're not my favorite movies. But I enjoy spending time in that world, even though it gets a little ridiculous and out there. Definitely not as much as Kaleb. Kaleb clearly has a passion for it. It's just they're not 100% for me. But I enjoy spending time in the world. I think the 4th one is fucking terrible, and I think the 5th one is even worse. I know Kaleb says that it's not that bad. I think the 5th one is an abomination of a movie.
Despicable.
I think the problem with 5 is not it's the direction. It's they rushed it. It's too short. The story they needed needed more time. But whatever. We'll get to another time.
But I don't disagree with you. I would have liked to have seen one more with Johnny Depp if they were going to tout it as like the final movie, like the final in the franchise. I would have liked to have seen that. I wouldn't have hated that. I think you could easily.
Johnny Depp is taboo right now, though.
I know, which is why they have to reboot it. But.
And I think you could do a reboot. Because let's be real, the 4th and 5th movies were kind of reboots already. But like the 5th one brought back in characters, but like they were reboots in the sense of like what The Force Awakens was. Like it's continuing the story, but it's rebooting the franchise. I think you could easily do a reboot, whole new set of characters, and then you have a post-credit scene where Johnny Depp shows up, and in the second reboot film, he's back. You could easily do that, and I'd be fine with it. I think this is a franchise where you could easily have many different characters. Maybe there's whispers of this like crazy pirate throughout the whole first movie, and then in the second one, he shows up. Like you could easily do that. It doesn't need to take place 30 years in the future, or it doesn't need to be a prequel. It could just be happening at the same time as these other movies. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of room and options here. Maggie, I'll go to you next. You like these movies, kind of.
I like the first 3. I'm over it. I'm really over it. I'm not interested in seeing anything else for a while. I hope that they don't bring Johnny Depp back. I'm honestly really sick of Jack Sparrow. He does nothing new. And that's where I'm at with that. I do really like the first 3, and I wish that they would have just like left the trilogy be, because I thought it was perfectly fine as it was.
All right, Robert.
I'm absolutely with Maggie. I've been over it since 2008. I'm on the same boat. I really do like all of the first 3, 2 and 3 together. I really do enjoy that trilogy of movies, and I think 4 and 5 are horrid. So I don't care for the series anymore. I definitely don't care for the Jack Sparrow character anymore, because all he's become is a caricature and a meme, and that's all he is anymore. And it's just, I don't want to see that meme for another 2 hours. Like, I don't want to see that caricature of a character that I used to really like, that was unique then, that definitely isn't now. So this movie will find an audience, because there are people like Kaleb Koho in the world, and there is a fandom for this series, and there is an audience for this movie, so I'm sure people will see it. But I think people are really hesitant after 4 and 5, because I think the general consensus is that both of those movies suck.
Nobody saw those movies. Those movies didn't make jack shit.
Well, the 4th one made $1 billion.
The fourth one was the most.
The 5th one bombed.
The 4th one
was the most expensive
American film ever made. Was the 4th
because
one.
Rob Marshall needed actual pirate ships actually out in the Caribbean, because he doesn't know how to direct a fucking movie.
Yeah, so I think
Rob Marshall's shit.
Rob Marshall is shit.
Rob Marshall is shit.
2019. I don't really care about this series anymore. I'm 100% with Maggie. Leave it if they would have left it at 3, I would have been in Kaleb Koho's shoes touting this as one of the great trilogies, but it's not. And I don't care about the characters anymore.
Kaleb Koho, I'll pose you a question, since you're like chomping at the bit to keep talking about this.
Sorry.
I don't know about you guys. I'd like to see maybe a like Disney Plus series. New characters, I'd rather see. I feel like you could explore more, make it more of like a family-friendly version of Black Sails or something.
Do it animated. Like, I could see like an animated series in this world.
I will say I don't want animated. I think the magic of pirates is actually be pirates, and like we don't get a lot of live-action pirate stories, let alone pirate stories in general. And if you do an animated, family-friendly Pirates of the Caribbean, you're touting the line of making this Jake and the Neverland Pirates, and I don't want that. If you do pirates on Disney Plus, Disney's got the budget to do that as a show. I watch it. I think when it comes to pirates, they like the longer stories. All the movies come in at about 2.5, 2 hours and 45 ish.
Except for the last two. Which I think that's the detriment of the 5th one, is that it had a long story that they tried to condense and didn't give Jack Sparrow anything to do. So I think if you made it a series, that could be cool and that might benefit it. I've heard rumors that Karen Gillan is the person they're looking for the new lead. I don't hate that. I would actually love to see Karen Gillan lead the new Pirates of the Caribbean franchise going forward. I think that would be great. I love her. So it'd be fun to see Pirates with Karen Gillan in the lead. Ted Elliott is writing the reboot movie. Okay, then I feel a little bit better. If Ted Elliott's involved, at least one of them is, then cool. Because I trust them. Whenever Ted Elliott's been involved in a Pirates movie, it's been good. Because I will rescind, Ted Elliott did. Terry Rossio wrote the story for the 5th one, but he did not write the 5th one. So as long as Elliott's involved, then it's good. So. All right, well, that's enough about the pirates and all that shit. We're going to move on to the final topic of today. We do this every week. We kind of look forward to the movies coming to theaters near you and tell you what we think about them, our excitement level for them. We're going to go quick because there's a lot of them this week. We're going to fire these off. The first one, expanding into a lot of cities, a lot of places. You'll probably be able to see it this weekend. Jojo Rabbit. Maggie and I are seeing it tomorrow. I'm so fucking excited. I'm so excited to see this movie. I hate that I'm so excited, because every time I get so excited for a movie, I was talking to Maggie about this the other day, that I walk in, my expectations are so high, and I want to go into every movie and walk out and say, that was my favorite movie of the year. I've never wanted a movie to be my favorite movie of the year more than Jojo Rabbit, so I want it to be so good. Kaleb, how do you feel about Jojo Rabbit?
If it's here, I'm seeing it. If it's not here, I'm gonna cry until it finally gets here, because everyone's gonna keep talking about how great this movie is, and my excitement level is just so through the roof that I need to see it. I need to see Jojo Rabbit yesterday. And if it comes up here, I'm gonna watch it opening night. but I don't think it is. Not until like November or something for me. So
yeah, we're getting a chance to see it tomorrow night. Very, very, very excited to see it. Robert, what about you?
Realistically, I probably won't be able to see it within the first 2 weeks of it going wide. I do not think it's coming to theaters near me, unfortunately, because I'm kind of in the middle of nowhere. So when it does finally expand to me, it'll probably take me a couple weeks. But this is one that I do really want to see in the theater.
All right, the next one coming out this weekend, Terminator: Dark Fate. Maggie and I are literally in the middle of watching Terminator 2 Judgment Day. I'm excited for this film. Take away 3, 4, 5, Jenny Smith, all that shit. There's a child in the apartment below me screaming at the top of their lungs. They must be excited for Terminator. Maggie, I realized I didn't go to you for Jojo Rabbit because I kind of talked for both of us. But Terminator, are you excited?
I don't care, but it's happening. So.
Kaleb,
that's how I feel.
Kaleb, are you excited for Terminator?
I'm gonna see it on Thursday. That's like Terminator's like my dad and I's franchise. We've gone to every one in theaters since Salvation, so it's kind of our thing. So I'm excited. That'll be fun. All 2 of the ones that have been out since I've been alive that I've been able to see. Yes, but yeah, I'm excited.
When were you born?
I was 99. So I mean,
Terminator 3 came out in 03. Did you go? And
I was 3 years old, so no.
Okay, right.
But yeah,
just making sure.
Yeah.
Robert, do you care at all about Terminator?
I've seen like 3 Terminator movies. I've seen the first one, Jenny Smith, and then half of T2 and half of Rise of the Machines. So it's gonna be a no from me, dog. If all of them are on your Vudu, maybe I'll like binge them soon.
The second one is, so you should watch.
I should watch the rest of the second one because I've only seen the beginning of that movie.
I really like to.
But I really enjoy. I own the first one. I really enjoy that one. And
great.
Yeah, I really enjoy the first one. So this is a series that, like, as sort of like a fantasy sci-fi fan, like, it's weird that I haven't seen it. This is one of like the biggest franchises that I just haven't seen, and I want to. So hopefully I will. And I've heard that this one is good from all of the Twitters.
I'm sorry, is that Ryan Permazan on screen right now?
Luckily for TM Smith, this movie, Dark Fate, takes place after Judgment Day. They're skipping 3, 4, and 5. Linda Hamilton back. I'm excited to see it. We are seeing that on Thursday. I'm looking forward to it. Next one, Harriet Tubman. She's in a movie. She's apparently going to shoot people. I don't know. I saw the trailer once and it looked fine. The main woman who's playing Harriet, I don't remember her name. She was great though in Widows and Bad Times at the El Royale.
Cynthia Erivo, Bad Times at the El Royale.
She's very, very good. So I'm looking forward to it based on that. But I've heard that the movie is not that good. So I'm going to see it. Maggie, I don't think you're coming with me, correct? Maggie's not coming with me. She doesn't care. Kaleb, what about you?
I heard on Dan Murrell's Box Office Mojo rant-filled show on Monday that this is one that you should probably see, that there's like supposedly buzz that she could get nominated for this.
Well, when that happens, I'll watch it.
But I will probably see it. I don't know a lot about Harriet Tubman in general, so might as well go see it and learn. So.
Right now, it has a 63% on Rotten Tomatoes, so not the worst. Worst movies have been nominated for Oscars. Robert, what about you? Are you gonna see Harriet before you see Joker?
No, I will not. I was gonna make that joke at the end of the show. Damn it, Tim. That the movie I'm most looking forward to is seeing Joker. But Harriet Tubman, she's the Underground Railroad person, right? Okay, so like I know a decent amount about like that era and about that person, so it's at least like a biopic or like a kind of movie that would interest me with the story and with the person that it's focusing around. But this is not what I'll be seeing in theaters because I do not have time to see a lot of movies in theaters. So I'm with Maggie. If it gets nominated for some stuff, some acting stuff, some picture, like if it's certain to get some award buzz, I'll check it out at that time. But I'm not going to see it anytime soon.
Yeah, the cast looks great. I thought the trailer looked fine. I'm going to see it. We'll see what happens. Next movie on the docket, which is one that I'm not really looking forward to seeing, but I'm going to. Motherless Brooklyn. This is a film directed and starring and I believe written by
also written by.
And the cast of this movie is fucking insane.
Yeah.
I think that the trailers have been terrible. I did not like the trailer at all for this movie, but like I said, the cast is great. Edward Norton, Gugu Mbatha-Raw, Bruce Willis, Leslie Mann, Willem Dafoe, Alec Baldwin, Bobby Cannavale, Michael Williams. Like the cast goes on of just fantastic actors. But I've heard that the movie is very plodding and pretty boring. It's also got a 62% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's 2 hours and 24 minutes. This looks like another Live by Night to me, where there's an actor-director that I really like, but unfortunately, the movie just looks not great. Maggie, Motherless Brooklyn, will you be joining me at the theater for this one?
I will not. This is another one where I don't really care. I've never really been a big Ed Norton fan. His face is really obnoxious to look at, so I'm okay with skipping this one. Again, as with Harriet, if it gets nominated, I'm sure that I will see it. But until that day, no thanks.
Robert, I hear that Edward Norton is your favorite Hulk. Care to comment?
I actually don't know if that's true. It's not true at all. No. He for a third, I guess. This is one that, like, you mentioned Live by Night, and we saw that movie together, Timothy, and I really enjoyed that movie. Like, I liked Live by Night a lot.
Live by Night was.
I enjoyed that movie. I've seen it honestly. I probably rewatched it twice since it came out.
I've seen it twice.
Yeah, that's a movie I like. So I feel like this is kind of up my alley a little bit. As far as just like, yeah, maybe not like the best movie in the world, but something that I could have fun watching. It's not something I'm going to sit in a theater for 2.5 hours for. Something that I wait to see when it is put into the Disney vault on Tim's Voodoo. So,
unless I love the movie, I don't know about that. Kaleb Koho, what about you?
I did not know this movie existed until on the day when everyone put in for your considerations for every movie, and I saw Edward Norton's name for your consideration for picture, director, actor, writer, cinematography. I saw a lot of things from Motherless Brooklyn for your consideration. I'm like, what even is this? I watched 2 TV spots, said this looks atrocious, read the synopsis of the movie, and said I'm probably going to see this now because it actually sounds like it could be one for me. I like Live by Night. So, like, I don't know. It could be good. I'm going to see it because it's like a noir crime film. So I'm in. I'm going to watch it. I might hate it. I might, like, get halfway through it and go, this was a mistake. But I'm in. I'm strapping in for the Motherless Brooklyn ride.
If there's one crime noir I'm going to watch this year, it's going to be The Irishman. But actually, that's not true because I'm going to see this as well. The final one that we're going to talk about is a film that I'm very much looking forward to. Parasite is finally expanding to, I believe, 1,000 theaters, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. I don't know. But it's coming out by us this week. We're going to see it on Thursday. It's the best reviewed movie of the year. That's all there is to it. It's the best reviewed movie of the year. It's from the director of The Host, I believe is the name of the film, as well as Snowpiercer, which is a film I really
like. Bong Joon-ho, or what's his name?
Bong Joon-ho.
John Geek Champ. There you go.
Joon-ho. I couldn't think of that last name.
It has a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. One motherfucker didn't like it. A very close friend of mine has seen it 3 times. Loves this movie. It looks. I've seen one teaser for it that's about 50 seconds long. It has me intrigued. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm excited to see it. We'll see what happens. Maggie, you're gonna come with me. Are you excited?
Yeah, I have recently discovered that like foreign films are like good. Like the ones that reach this market obviously are going to be good. Don't make that face at me, Tim. So I am excited. It looks like it's gonna scare the shit out of me. So that'll be fun. Looking forward to it.
Robert, do you watch foreign films?
I don't like being scared. I don't like negative emotions. I'm scared of a lot of things.
I don't know why you're saying it's scary. It's labeled as a drama mystery.
Really? Because based on the trailer that we saw, it looks like a horror thriller.
So let's just like take a step back and reevaluate that. No, this is not a movie I'll see in theaters, but I do love Snowpiercer, so I trust the director to do a great job with the film. And I have also heard raving things on the Twitters. It's just not a movie that I'll be rushing to see in theaters because I don't see a lot of things in theaters anymore, unfortunately.
Now the fire or the smoke alarm underneath us in the apartment below.
I do hear that, but I don't hear that here.
The child is going.
I am in the same apartment, and I
maybe
cannot
the child
hear
lit
that.
the fire.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was always burning since the world was turning.
Leave. You're done.
You watch some films. A lot of the films you watch are films that Paul Oyama says, Kaleb, if you don't watch this, you're not a real film fan. And you go, yes, God, Paul Oyama. So you watch them. Do you think Paul Oyama will be mad if you don't watch this movie?
Paul has not told me if I should or should not watch this one. I looked through. I've been going through the movies that he nominated for the Co-Oscar Mid-Season Awards, and I had never heard of. And I watched some of them, and I like half of the ones I've seen. So his review is great. He says it's great. So if it's around me, I feel like I kind of, because everyone loves this movie, apparently, I probably should see it. I don't know. I don't know anything about it, and I want it to stay that way. I have no idea what this is about.
My friend that I referred to earlier on Letterboxd gave it a 5 out of 5 and said, okay, so this movie is nuts and you have to see it, but I cannot tell you anything about it because I don't want to spoil anything. Parasite is masterful and one of the best films of the year, if not the best. Go see it as soon as it is available where you are and you won't regret it. That's some high bar, but I am looking forward to it. Maggie and I are also going to be seeing a film tomorrow night, a little bit early, thanks to Fandango. We are going to review that movie next week, or at least I will on this show. Hopefully Maggie will join me, but we'll see because it's coming out next week. We get to see Dr. Sleep tomorrow, so hopefully we will have a review for Dr. Sleep for you next week on this show. Kaleb, what do you want to say?
I have hot off the press from one Abby Koho, the review for the movie Countdown.
Fucking yes.
It was fine until the end. I can't really say what sucked about spoiling it. There were a lot of funny characters, but it was super freaking dumb. And then it ends with them teasing Countdown 2.0, which I will never see in my life. And that is the review from Abby Koho.
Well, now I have to see that.
I didn't ask you for a star review, but I want to. I kind of want to ask you what a star review is.
I'm going to double feature Countdown and Joker now because of that review.
You should.
I just texted her. I said, "What's your star review out of 5?" If she answers before the show is done, I'll tell you what it is.
Yikes. Guys, this has been a journey. This has been easily the third best episode of Multiplex Loves Movies. It was a great time. Thank you for sharing it with me. Robert, do you have anything you want to plug?
You can follow me on Twitter and Letterboxd at RBRTPRKR98. That is my first and last name involves plus a year. Other than that, I do the trivias all over the places, and I don't see movies in theaters until 4 weeks after they were released. That's about it.
Like a year, but yeah.
Fair enough. Margaret, anything you want to plug?
No, you can follow me on Letterboxd at May 24, I think, or May.
Ooh.
I just can't even
change
remember
that handle up
at this moment. Okay, no, but it's the same as my Twitter, so I think it's May 24 Maggie. Yeah, but it's MAE24MAGGIE. I'm watching the Star Trek movies for the first time, the originals, and it is a journey. So join me on this journey as I watch Star Trek.
Yikes.
I'm gonna live for the review that says this movie's boring as shit.
Oh, that's already happened, Kaleb. Go.
Oh, I have to go look at the letterbox now. I have to be up to date.
Kaleb, what's happening in the world of fandom?
Fandom fights this week. Battle of the last debuting teams standing. Necronomicon is playing a new team, the Dark Knights, which is Ruben Cullen and James Spence, Necronomicon, Jay Burns, and Mark Aiden Kabire. And also, insert name here, Jacoby and Tony taking on Nick of Time, Nick Tewig, and Nick Carly. Those both drop this Friday, and I will tease next week also so that I don't forget. Me and Nico rematching. Undercard is Arkham Knights, Kings of Winter 2 for the title. So we got some big matches coming up the next week.
The undercard is what you're saying.
No, I said the undercard was me versus Nico. If you would listen,
that was not clear. By the way that you phrased that sentence.
Well, okay. Well, the undercard is me versus Nico.
I'm playing in a match in 2 weeks.
Yes, not this Friday, the following Friday.
Yeah, next Friday.
Thanks for the heads up there, boss. No, I'm just kidding.
We're gonna kick your ass, Caleb.
All right.
That's hashtag promo.
Hashtag bet.
Hashtag promo. Hashtag you suck. Hashtag we rule.
Hashtag blow the refs.
Hashtag oof. Okay, guys. Not this upcoming Saturday, but the following week, you'll get another Nerdgasm. If you haven't seen Nerdgasm from last week, which I can guarantee a lot of you haven't, go and watch it. It was actually a really good match. It was the last three-way match that we're going to do for the season. It was actually a really, really, really good match. This upcoming one, though, in about a week and a half, you get Thomas Scully versus, I believe, Joe Harrison, right? Isn't that what it was, Caleb? Yeah,
it is Joe Harrison versus Thomas Scully.
Yeah, that's going to happen in a couple weeks, and then you'll get other glorious matchups like Robert Parker versus Nazario, Kaleb Koho versus Jay Burns. Lots of good stuff coming in Nerdgasm tomorrow. Your List Sucks is not your original scheduled programming because it's going to be hosted by Kaleb Koho. So that'll be sure to be the lowest viewed Your List Sucks.
DC comic books. Come watch us not talk about movies.
Thank you guys for watching this episode of Multiplex Loves Movies. We'll be back next week. Same time, same bat channel, probably an assortment of similar people. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, guys, have a good one. See you later.